My dad lived till he was 81.
81, see, it's a good age, isn't it?
Weren't for him, he died.
When you're selling a car to a man, it all comes down to who's got the biggest todger. You have to make him think that his is bigger. But in order to sell it to him, you have to know that yours is the biggest.
I've got the biggest todger in the world.
It's not as big as mine, Paul. As big as mine.
He sent Mary and Joseph to Bethlehem to have his son, and thereby to start the Christian faith.
Why do you think that God with all his pull? I mean, he'd have found him a better place to stay than a stable.
Well, there wasn't no room at the inn that night.
Oh, it was Christmas. Everywhere's crowded at Christmas.
I hope that you and your friend enjoy your hiking holiday and don't find our little town too boring. We have never been camping, as Uncle Harvey does not get on with chemical tones.
Excuse me, do you mind? This is private.
Come on your feet, all of you. Come on, now, we must get back to work. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're one short, too. Where's Ives?
Oh, he's outside desecrating holy ground.
How do you mean?
He's having a slash in the churchyard.
Look at that, Lawrence. Look at this tiling here, madam. Just come off in my hand.
Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Anna Nugent, pool attendant at Newton Abbott Sports and Leisure Centre.
Ladies and gentlemen, don your leggings, exercise your applause muscles, and let yourselves go as Martine McCutcheon is Anna Nugent, a swimming pool attendant at Newton Abbott Sports and Leisure Centre.
It's really lucky there, you know, because Carl Fogarty comes up in a Yamaha 750 and parks it perfectly.
You are foolish, Doctor. Next time, we will kill you.
I'm Nick Hancock, and I'm here at White Hart Lane. This is the place where Gary Lineker spent so much of his career. Not White Hart Lane, but here, about 3 foot from goal. And here I am at Lord's, the home of cricket, and the place where David Gower spent so much of his batting career. Not Lord's, but here in the Pavilion. Between them, these two venues have witnessed many of the great moments in the careers of our two team captains, Gary Lineker and David Gower. Moments which we, on They Think It's All Over, prefer to ignore. We like to concentrate on the career lows, such as the moment that they both said yes to the question, do you want to be on They Think It's All Over? This video is a compilation of the last 4 series, during which time Jonathan Ross has joined Rory McGrath as a team regular. Directly because of this, much of what you're about to see has been edited from the original shows, for reasons of taste, decency, and because they show us up as complete incompetents. On the show, we go to great lengths to make sure that our guests feel welcome. But sometimes, despite our best intentions, things go ever so slightly wrong.
Whereabouts are you from in England?
Chelsea.
Do they have Canadian cockneys? I mean,
no, they don't.
Do you eat jellied seals and... a plate of Elks?
Well, that's probably why I moved over here.
Yeah, to lose your accent.
Can't you tell it's improving?
It's good. It's very good.
I say.
May I say, though,
here we go,
how exciting it is to have Nasser on the show. I used to love all your early work with Dennis the Menace. You were my favourite. And to see it this evening, for me, is a personal honour. And so, thank you for being here.
I was very fortunate to be at the sports personality of the millennium, and...
Fucking fortunate, aren't it?
I need to protect you against Vinny, don't worry.
Who are you?
I'm just a lovely chap who everyone thinks is sweet.
Michael Owens, mate, just come from school, isn't he?
Excuse me, but that's a prefect's tie he's got on.
Vinny, sorry. Did you say
Smack him in the mouth.
I'm going to smack him in the mouth.
Stand for that.
I'm going to smack him in the mouth in a second. I just want to have a chat with him first so we can work this out. Jones, what do you want?
I'll start writing your obituary now.
God bless.
On half an episode of They Think It's All Over before his tragic death.
I think you better remind him he's only got 2 mates with him.
I'm not...
Incidentally, I'm sure everyone is aware that Vinny and Gary have a bit of history, so if anything does go off tonight, Gary, if there is any rough stuff, then just fix this image in your mind. It won't actually help, but it'll give you a bit of a laugh when he's kicking your teeth in.
You've got a lovely reading voice, Jeffrey.
It's very kind of you.
Yeah. Lovely.
Very charming.
I think I'd rather have you reading than writing any day.
For a Yorkshireman, you're not that mean, are you?
I'm not sure I've doubted that.
That's a result, then.
James, you ever done washing machine? No?
Just the blow dry.
Yeah.
I don't want to lower the tone too early, but fuck me, you're posh. I barely understand a word you're saying. I read a quote from Jamie. He said, the 2 things you know about is horses and sex. Did you say it? You said that quote?
I did say that.
Because with Warwick, that's just the one thing. There's nothing wrong with harming that. It's a victimless crime.
I was shocked the other day when they said they'd found Shergar. I thought, oh, no. I thought, I've left the attic ladder out again.
Und das sind natürlich die Bilder, auf die die Kollegen gewartet haben. Los!
Was that you, Eddie, behind him, as usual?
No, I'm much better looking than that.
What's he like?
He's an arsehole, that guy.
Yeah, I know he is. Well, what about Schumacher? What's he like? Is he...
He's German, isn't he?
OK.
You always have to come second to Michael Schumacher. I mean, if you pull a bird in a discotheque...
Oh, I always beat him at that.
You take her back to the hotel room, she strips off, she's lying on the bed, you say, I'd like to introduce you to Michael Schumacher, he'll be coming first.
Before becoming the head of FIFA, some geezer wrote this.
Yeah, I know, terrible typing.
It's typed, yeah.
Before... No, before's a big word.
Hey. Fucking after you want to worry about it.
David's team, what was that plan? It was to calm his nerves of the players. Glenn O'Donnell put on the CD of hymns.
No, in English, Frank.
I don't care. I won the World Cup.
That's right.
Did you ever leave a really expensive hat in the commentary box one day? And when you're out, did somebody else put it on the floor and jump up and down it and say, that bloody pompous, arrogant, bigoted Yorkshire wanker? But when you came back, you put it on and walked out without realising it.
I didn't use the word wanker, to be honest.
The French eat horses, don't they? Frank, have you ever eaten a horse?
Well, sometimes I give him a bite.
And you suck them off if they win for you?
No, I'm on a diet!
You don't have to swallow!
Why do you want to be mayor anyway? That's no job for an adult, is it, really?
I'll tell you what, I can get us 3 points if you let me.
Well, you know nothing. Just before we do this, may I take a second to digress momentarily, Nick? Because I wanted to say how proud I am of everyone on the show this week for not going for the obvious and going on and on about Linford's lunchbox. Because Linford, I know, like me, you're cursed with an extraordinarily large Hampton. Just because we are fantastically well endowed, there's no need to keep going on and on about it. We don't go on about David's withered stump. endlessly and tiring speeches. We're not endlessly going on about Rory's tiny strawberry or the small mushroom that Gary's trying to grow in his pants, do we? So why don't you leave those of us who happen to have the enormous sausage alone and in peace to pleasure the ladies as only we can. I hope you approve, Limpert. I'm speaking for all of us brothers. Brothers of the long sword.
All those women didn't say you had a big prick, they said you were one. When Jonathan first offered us vast sums of money to appear on the show, he assured us that his sporting knowledge was impeccable. However, even during his first sentence, the cracks began to appear.
You'd get in big trouble if you were criticised and said, I don't like those grunting javelin players, couldn't you?
Javelin players?
I know a lot about sports. I know your soccer, I know your boxing. Go on the Chelseas, I know it all.
So, Jonathan, who plays at Molineux?
Peter Gascoigne.
I'm not sexist, but I don't approve of female officials. How can they make accurate decisions if they've never been tackled from behind by a 14-stone something?
It's something about women in sport. Who was there? There was a... wasn't there...
Worth a point, Gav.
I'll quit while I'm ahead, shall I? Wasn't there was a woman linesman, a woman lines person introduced at Manchester United, I think. It's something to do with Jimmy Royal.
Jimmy Royal.
I don't read the sports pages. I can barely get past the cartoons and the horoscopes. One with lady officials in the game, of course, is that a lady ref would send people off for all the wrong reasons, wouldn't she? She'd introduce whole new punishments. It would be like, failing to resolve your issues, off. Not asking about me, off.
Why are you sending me off? So, well, if you don't know now, you never will.
The problem is, when Jonathan's sporting knowledge fails him, he only has one way to go. Down.
You do know the answer, don't you?
I think it's Lennox Lewis talking about Holyfield.
Yep, that is correct.
Because I watched the fight on Sky pay-per-view and I was most disappointed. Because all week, I mean, I laid down my hard cash for that. All week long, I promise you, hot ring action. I'm sitting there, I got the Vaseline, I got the tissues. Two blokes knocking shit out of each other. Obviously, I knocked one out anyway, but it's beside the point. They should be more clear, shouldn't they, Jeff? You've been there. Did you see Eddie Irving on Miss World, actually? Eddie Irving was judging Miss World, and I'm not making up... Ulrika Johnson was hosting it, and he came out on stage to talk at one stage, and she actually said to him, Eddie, you must have come across some of the most beautiful women in the world. He actually said that. And even Eddie, for a second, thought I'm being rumbled.
Is that a tie you've got on, or are you panting?
I'm not sure if it's a tie or something that Chris Evans picked out of his teeth after a weekend with Jerry. You know what, though? Seriously, though, I'm a bit worried about the kind of anti-French tide which is sweeping the country, and this show often, you know, panders to that. Because previously, Europe, I mean, we're just about getting united. For many years, we were separated by the Iron Curtain. I would hate to see a massive beef curtain descend from Marseille to Moscow. Imagine that, an enormous beef curtain. And all the American wives all looked virtually the same, didn't they? They were all blonde. Sam, what are you backing away from? Come on, join in. You must have thought about them when you were looking at them. They're all sitting there. It was the Stepford wives to come, didn't they? They all had the blonde hair, but they're what we call aeroplane blondes.
What's an aeroplane?
Well, they're blonde on top, but you know they're carrying a black box down below. They're all sitting... Near the end of the game, though, 1-0 down, he probably thought they've lost. I'll leave, I'll get my car out of the car park, don't want to get caught in the rush, get home, have a couple of drinks, wank off.
Is Jonathan's joke going badly, or I'll just throw in the word wank.
Hey, it works, though, doesn't it? They love a wank joke.
Jonathan's version of a joke. What lies at the bottom of the sea and shivers a nervous wreck having a wank?
Biggest laugh all evening. People are murmuring in the audience, they know the answer. Come on, put us out of our misery.
Do you know? Feel free to take part.
There's a bloke there yawning. What are you yawning for? Fuck off. Fuck off. You, fuck off. No, you, fuck off. We work for you, the bloke in the blue jumper. Fuck off. Did you see him yawning?
No.
Weren't you yawning? Now, fuck off!
The trouble with this show
you
is
don't mean
you can't turn Jonathan off the telly right now. He's right here, isn't he?
Fuck off!
This is another historic spot, because it was here that in a match against Derby in November 1989, Gary Lineker broke sweat. Of course, now, Gary is a member of the establishment, the official face of BBC Sport.
You know, like footballers do that snotting thing where they go...
Yeah. No, Joe.
What?
Back of the hand. Always the back of the hand.
Is that the right action?
So then it goes nicely down your wrist. Did he just fall because he fell asleep? I mean, racing's so boring, isn't it?
He's a little charmer, isn't he, eh? A bit of sunshine.
Well, it gets in the way of sport.
I was so excited about being on your side.
That's you riding again, isn't it? I don't care anyway, it's tennis. It is rekindling with rivalry.
Who cares about tennis? Remember shiny toilet paper? What happened to shiny toilet paper? Remember that? Yeah? Remember shiny toilet paper? Did they still have it?
Desperate stuff, wasn't it? I liked it.
Did they have it at Tottenham?
Well, never little bits don't stick to you, do they?
Do you really think that the topic of what comes out of your arse is suitable for Christmas viewing, Mr. Especially after those bloody horrible crisps you've been eating, it must be a minefield down there.
And Platz there, he's hit the bar! Oh, and the rebound has gone wide from Lineker.
In by Moran, Lineker. What a miss.
It's a good cross! Yes! Lineker just could not get to it.
The first one was a great effort, wasn't it? The second one, it was blowing a gale. It was at Blackpool in the Cup. And the third one, well, he headed it off the line.
Yeah. Have you ever done any football coaching videos? I mean, would you tell kids that the best way to head is to go... And is it normal for international class strikers, after they've headed the ball, to go, ow?
Something's occurred to me, is looking at that tape there, seeing, you know, Gary captured on video for all time, a young, prime man in the full vigour of youth, quite beautiful in a butch way, and running free and proud, his legs churning like steam piston engines as if they'd been designed by Isambard Kingdom Brunel. And look at him now, a wrinkled, foul-smelling... And I feel there must be a torment. Now, his face as wrinkled and as crunched up as the crisps he so shallowly promotes. I think we should spare a second. David, my heart's with you.
His name's Gary. That's showbiz.
Yeah. Whoever the fuck you are, my thoughts are with you.
Gary's crisp advert came number 9 in the top 100 of adverts.
Wow, how about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes. Can I just say very briefly what I particularly liked was the director saying how intelligent you were because you instinctively knew how to hold the crisp properly.
You see, all those years at Spurs weren't wasted.
We take the piss out of Gary a lot, but he can hold a crisp.
He was comparing him to the chimps from the PG Tips advert.
When he appeared as a guest on this programme, Frank humorously gave the same answer to every question.
I don't care. I won the World Cup.
That's right. Now, according to Frank, it was meant to be funny, but I came across as arrogant. I didn't realise how it would come across, but Gary Lineker said it would be fine.
And what was the best time when you motivated your team? Did you do a speech? How did you get them going before a game?
He was captain of Spurs. There's no question of motivation.
I used to go, come on.
Managers and...
But for the really big games, I used to go, come on.
Rory McGrath is the intellectual amongst us. On They Think It's All Over, he's spoken French, Spanish, German, Swedish, Swahili and Maori. Although when he comes down here to White Hart Lane to watch Arsenal get whooped by Spurs, he usually reverts to Anglo-Saxon. On the show, however, he tries to elevate proceedings by showing his vast knowledge.
Nice easy one for you here.
Which one?
A character from Julius Caesar. Pardon me, O bleeding piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Wasted on you. Mark Antony, very good indeed. Right, now, if this guy had a saint in front of his name, he would have been the first Archbishop of Canterbury, sent by Pope Gregory I in 596 AD. I'm wasting my time. Michael. This is a euphemism for a word meaning sexual intercourse. Begins with the same letter, and it's a corruption of fingering, actually. Finger. It's true. It's true. A linguistic nugget there for you. This is one of those words, these onomatopoeic words you get in Batman when someone goes, boof. Did I say onomatopoeic for Gary Lineker? Wham, but more than that. You know when you bash it off? Wham is very close.
Oh, whack.
Whack, yeah.
You see, that's better than onomatopoeic.
This is a headline from Gay News. Puis-je dire, pour commencer, que c'est un grand honneur de t'avoir ici dans le show, Monsieur Leboeuf.
Thank you very much.
What I was saying there was, have you had any language difficulties at Chelsea? Have you taught Dennis Wise any English yet? Are you a Shakespearean actor?
I've done it, yeah. Can you quote Shakespeare, Rory?
I have seen tempests when the scalding winds have rived the north yokes. I have seen the ambitious ocean swell and rage and foam to be exalted with threatening clouds, but never till now, after this night, did I go through tempest dropping fire. Either a civil strife...
Yeah, great, you can do it. What?
I can quote Shakespeare as well, this from 1603. Gower's out again.
When Michel de Bruyn's urine sample was analysed, the main ingredient was anabolic steroids.
The main ingredients were, shouldn't that be?
I just read what's on the card, mate.
You misread it. When Michel de Bruyn's urine sample was analysed...
How many years at Cambridge was that?
Sorry?
Sorry, question too hard?
Oh. David Gower is the most elegant and stylish batsman ever to have graced this ground. He's the second highest run scorer in English Test cricket, and he holds the world record for the most consecutive Test innings without a duck. These are all facts that we resolutely ignore on They Think It's All Over.
Cheer up, David Gower! Oh, what can it mean?
What comes next?
Cheer up, David Gower. Oh, what can it mean? You used to captain England with all the skill of Mr. Bean.
Cheer up, David Gower, oh, what can it mean? Once a golden-haired young lad, now you're a silver-haired old queen.
The answer, strangely enough, is this.
Cheer up, David Gower! Oh, what can it mean? To the best spoken pundit on the Sky Cricket team!
Now, Richard Keys would have been voted the best-spoken person on Sky Sports, but he's technically an ape. According to the papers, David's 40th birthday party was so loud that the next-door neighbours popped round to complain. Well, they would have done if they hadn't run out of supplies halfway up his drive and been forced to eat each other. But the tantrums all started earlier in the match when the Sri Lankan leg spinner...
He's not a leg spinner.
Isn't he?
No.
Off spinner.
Yeah.
I wish you could have read it when you were at the crease.
I want to see you say the name as well. No, you're on your own. Cocky twat. Come on, get on with it.
When the Sri Lankan leg spinner, cocky twat. No, that's not right. When the Sri Lankan leg spinner was no ball for throwing. And the Sri Lankan team walked off the pitch. There can be no greater humiliation in cricket than to be no ball for throwing in an international match, except perhaps David, than to be no ball for throwing and to be hit for 4.
David Gower to bowl. Gower, 0-0, 4-0. Bear in mind,
Did you get the part in Little Lord Fauntleroy then or not?
You know, talk about NASA and how pleased don't have him on the show, and it is nice, because you've got NASA on the show. You've got a sporting, legend in the making there. An honest man. I'm stuck over here with a loser and a love rat. Hey, no disrespect. So,
James is not a loser. That's unfair.
You're the honest man, OK? And, David, you never took a bung, did you? You're wandering around, Jack the Biscuit, with your cricket bat, some bloke comes up in your bloke. Tell me about the weather. Next thing you know, you never did that, did you? Or so you say. However, Nasser over there is living above a chip shop in Basildon. You own half of Hertfordshire. Now explain that to me. And at least he wins the occasional match. You lost all of yours.
Since James has been here, David has started moving his accent a little bit, hasn't he? And they get together and you...
Do you remember Swift?
The major difference is James has had 50 women in 6 years and David's had 6 women in 50 years. You knew him when he was a test captain, didn't you, Jeff? I mean, we know he was good at the toss-up. In fact, a lot of people have said you are a complete England captain in many ways. But what's he like as a captain? Give us your appraisal, Jeff. You've got 20 minutes.
No, when he was batting, he was pretty good. No, it was beautiful to watch. It's just that wafting outside.
Jeff, you've been drinking.
It was quality when he's batting, or he was infuriatingly stupid.
Don't try and use long words like that.
In 1995, and this is absolutely true, David's autobiography was accidentally sent out to the reviewers with a blurb that should have accompanied the biography of Martina Navratilova. David's book was described as a work of immense significance for the lesbian community. It's true. Do you get bored of making jokes about David, though?
You can't, can you?
It still pleases me. I phoned you up recently, this is true, and this made me smile all day. I phoned up, I said, "Is David there, please?" And they said, "No, he's out." And I said... It was just so pleasing, I don't know why.
I've got a copy of Monday's Telegraph, and it's a big feature on David Gower. Laid-back Gower plays it for laughs. Have a look at that, right?
Just sit down.
OK. Let me just read you from this and see if you think he's describing the same David Gower sitting next to me. This bloke, Robert Phillip, who, I think, has a little thing for you. David Gower could have been a Bernini sculpture. As handsome as Apollo, as heroic as Achilles, as flighty as Mercury. To gaze upon Gower with willow in hand was to stand before a wondrous work of Venetian marble. That's what I said. I tell you,
that's ridiculous.
I mean, the bloke who was, I think he had his willow in his hand at the time.
It's totally inaccurate, that is. I mean, have you ever seen a bit of Venetian marble go like this?
I can't believe it. Listen to this. It goes, with his curly blonde hair and startling blue eyes, was the boy David not a sight to behold? This is gay porn. I tell you, you'd get a packet of snout for this in jail. More. No, I'm just going to read the finishing paragraph. David Gower comes with countless adjectives. I'll give you a minute to fill some of your own in. Majestic, magnificent, mercurial, wow, maddening, take your pick. I think he missed an R out in the last one there. We're laughing about it now, but when you find yourself lying down, trussed up with duct tape and with his cock up your arm, I'm telling you can't say I didn't warn you.
However, David has shown himself to be the most unflappable and good-natured of sporting ambassadors. Usually.
David, John, no one tucks their shirt in like that anymore. I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry, but that's like some sort of pre-war thing. Why don't you just go the whole hog and, like, put the belt under your armpit? That's like your grandpa, isn't it?
Just slip down, look at them. Let's see your armpits, actually. Go on.
Fuck off.
Oh, you leave my dad alone!
Grandmother.
You are sweating, though.
I am. I'm so close to you, I've been sweating for the last 8 weeks.
I've told you the price.
OK, can we?
I've paid you.
I'm sitting next to one of the greatest cricketers in the world. David, lean back. I'm sitting next to one of the greatest cricketers in the world. And you're asking me about boxes? When David entertains at his palatial home in Hampshire, he's known locally as the Ambassador. And when he entertains, he uses his old boxes to serve those, you know those fancy Italian chocolates, the little round ones? He brings them round.
Do you mean the Ferrero Rocher?
Yeah, they're the ones. The chocolates, I call them. I could say if I wanted to. I could say it very easily. I just don't feel the need to prove anything right now.
It's a good job they're not rum and raisin, isn't it?
I like a Ferrero Rocher. The next one.
This big pepperoni sausage coming out the bushes, was this Ron Davis's first unsuccessful attempt to explain his story to the police?
What, just 5 short months before the incident happened?
Did you put a time on this? When was this? Sorry, do we know when this was?
Was it? Hold on.
You didn't put a fucking time on it.
All right, then, fair enough. Let me check.
You're fucking clever, don't you? Jesus fucking... We've got to work in this, man.
You're absolutely right, I do beg your pardon.
Ooh.
Too late.
You should show this in Gresham when you batted.
So you got what? Cricket, and is this meant to be Lord someone, then?
Possibly.
Well, we got Lord Cowdrey, obviously not him because he's got a moustache and... Ugh. have we got the right... Oh, no!
I've had all the clues
It
I'm
is,
going
in fact,
to have.
David...
Unbelievable. You're not a fucking Lord.
I tell you what, you can read that in Debrett's. How to meet the Knight of the Realm. You're not a fucking lord! Imagine you going for a knighthood. You're not the fucking queen!
David can speak, he's been all over the world, he speaks languages. He knows how to say, where's the red light district in 17 different languages.
And David, you must know in a lot of languages the phrase, I've got a few hours now till we're field, haven't I?
Nick, can I just break into this flood of jokes just to say fuck off?
That's quick, isn't it, after 66 shows?
Jesus, where's my life gone?
You could have asked that a long time ago. OK. When we first started, Field the Sportsman was just that. A sporting titan came on, and our regulars gave them a grope. But increasingly, it seems, the sportsmen want to field back. And can we have our second mystery guest, please?
He said that, not me.
Say what?
Hold on. No. Olga Corbett just said, don't fuck with me to me. You did, didn't you? He said, come on, that's not me. I wouldn't dream of fucking with you now.
You know, Nick, when I was younger, this was evidence of a bloody good night out.
And your 90 seconds start now!
It's an Eric Morecambe impersonator. Wait, hold on, what's going on there?
I can smell... Ooh, hang on. Oh, rubber trousers.
My advice to you, Jonathan, is really go for it, mate.
Is it a lady?
It might be.
I love a lady.
OK, and your time starts now.
Oh.
Jonathan.
What's that? It's like someone's carrying a pig on his shoulder. What is it? What is that? What is this? That's an arm! What sort of arm is this? This is too big to be an arm.
Don't hold hands with him. Come on.
How far away are you? Is it Venus Williams? Well, man, I tell you what, though, he's a big fella. This is a bloke. I think it's a bloke. I hope it's a bloke. Or he's a horse standing on its hind legs. I don't know. He's a big bloke, got big chest and shoulders, big neck.
I'm not going to...
There's only a neck there.
Who's that guy?
Since we started, the BBC has lost just about every jewel in its sporting crown. In fact, this is about as close as you're going to get to seeing cricket on the Beeb. But they think it's all over as a commitment to bring top-level sport back to BBC One. Now, unfortunately, Sky wouldn't give us any film of the Ryder Cup. There used to be an arrangement whereby Sky would give sports footage to the BBC and the BBC would give its sports footage to Sky in return. But Sky have recently spotted the flaw in this arrangement. But never let it be said that we at the BBC aren't prepared to spend whatever it takes to bring you top-quality sports action. Now, the American, Justin Leonard, had a 50-foot putt from the edge of the green, which he successfully putted. This left Jose Maria Olazabal needing to sink a slightly shorter putt to keep Europe in the competition. At this point, rather regrettably, the green was invaded and trampled on by the American players, officials and wives. It's almost as if you were there, isn't it? David, catch. There you go, that's the last bit of cricket you'll see on the BBC this year.
Nick, I'm very disappointed in you. Frankly saddened, and I feel you must be chastened on
Why
this
is that,
subject. You kick off the first of what we represent the jewel in the BBC sporting crown. You kick off this show with an ITV sports show. Shame on you.
With an ITV
Shame on you,
you
wave-faced poltroon. You could have chosen from the many fine BBC sports still available. We had some fantastic under-16s badminton coverage and so on. The show Halfpenny has never been stronger.
What a statement it makes. This is one of the few sports, Mike, where women can actually compete with men at the same level.
Now, in case you're worrying, no one was seriously hurt in those games, apart from some rich Americans. You saw sky surfing, rollerblading and the street luge there, but 3 points once again if you can guess any of the other events.
That's that sort of dangerous extreme sports, isn't it? Like bungee jumping, skydiving, and they say they do it because they've declared war on gravity, haven't they? You know, I can fly, man. And they say they do it for the buzz and the thrill, but I think the real reason they do it is because they're shit at football. They're very odd, aren't they? They're odd sports because they basically just revolve around falling. You know, different. I mean, of course, women are as good as men because anyone can just fall. There's no rule.
The English couldn't do sports like that, could they? Well, no. They have bungee jumping, we have queue jumping.
Photocopying.
They're not real sports, are they? They're sort of pointless, stupid sports like Scottish football. You're Scottish, you said?
Absolutely.
I thought you were Mexican.
They think it's all over tries to bring together the worlds of sport and comedy, rather like the England cricket team. And when comedy and sport collide, we've found there's one common ground. Smut.
Are there any rules guiding what you can call a horse? Because I always wanted to call... If I owned a racehorse, I'd love to call it My Knob.
My Knob's coming first again.
My Knob way out in front.
There's a student inquiry about My Knob.
Oh, My Knob is being beaten. Not for the first time today.
I'm very sorry, sir, we're going to have to put My Knob down.
Now, that's something you've heard before.
Linton, is it true that you always used to go on the first bee in Bang? Is that true? I've heard a quote from you saying that. You used to
No,
go on...
I can go on for longer than that.
You said, no, but you used to go... Yeah, well, that's not saying much, is it? Because Rory, he comes on the first P in Playboy Channel.
Go
Golf's a very interesting game. Golf is the most popular pastime in this country.
Where's masturbation in the charts then?
In your chart, it's quite high up.
But you were telling me that a lesbian approached you recently with view to a date. Tell the ladies and gentlemen what happened so they can decide for themselves whether you were the innocent victim or whether you were giving the old lesbo the eye.
No, one of my friends thought that she was going for my boyfriend, but she said, I'm not actually, it's her that I want.
She was after you?
Yeah.
And will you please,
Where was
if not for my sake, for the sake of Jensen Button watching at home, please tell us that for a second you considered the possibility. Just give young Jensen something to grow into.
She wasn't really my type.
She wasn't?
No.
If she had been your type, then go on.
I tell you, he's after you.
Filthy you are.
He's sniffing around you like a butcher's dog.
Robbie Fowler is famously critical of sex bans for sportsmen. He says, I know someone who tossed himself off before a game, then went out and scored 3. I can't tell you his name, but he was the captain of his country. So, captained his country and went out and scored 3. David Gower. Gary's team, this is the window of Bim's department store in Middlesbrough. But what is going on?
I'll tell you what. Graham Lasso is doing himself no favours on that video, isn't he?
You appreciate I've gone full on for the decorations. Even added a little something for the ladies. That means stop, that means go. Is it better with that eye or with that eye? Is it clearer now or now?
Do you know any royals, Geoffrey? Have you hobnobbed with the royal family?
Occasionally.
Yeah, which ones?
Queen, she's the nicest.
Is she?
I imagine that was more the hobbing side of things.
I don't know. Is this something to do with rabid dogs?
David Algernon Gower, shame on you.
His real middle name's no bet. What is it, Ivan?
Ivan.
And where were you born?
Tunbridge Wells.
Were you?
Well, in Tanganyika.
I thought you were
Conceived in Tanganyika.
Man, she shot you out a long way then, didn't she? Your umbilical cord must have been like a bungee. Venus just got knocked out at the French Open, didn't she? So I think this is proof that the Williams sisters suck. Is this proof that Hugh Grant's been up to his old tricks again? It was 2 for 1 day on Sunset Boulevard.
That was lovely, wasn't it, eh? I love women's volleyball. I'm glued to the screen often. Actually, I saw I didn't see the end of that game because I went blind, but I was fine for watching that in Dixon's, actually.
I think they didn't participate in group sex. The Cubans did. Chinese just... Not doing that. No way. Absolutely not.
Interests you, does it?
Hello. Posh Bird's gone off on one.
Yeah, is it true posh birds are goers? Because I've heard that. I never really met anyone growing up, but I was told dead cert bet if you're in a party, nurses, posh birds. You found a posh nurse, you might as well just leave your pants at home.
Was she always nagging him about wiping his cock on the curtains? It's funny how many men, and you're exactly what I was thinking. If you do that, they're always on, except one bloke there's rather pain. You've got Venetian blinds or something.
I pray it's a young lady.
So do I, Jonathan.
We've never had a woman, have we? I mean, well, we have. I don't mean in that way.
yourself.
You mean in the sandwich situation, David.
And can we have our first mystery guest, please?
I can't wait. I don't know what it is, but it's going to be good. They're going nuts. It's got to be a girl.
Jonathan. And you can start feeling now.
Can I take me wig off?
She's a bit hairy. I think it's a fat bloke smoking a small cigar.
Is this what it's come to?
Oh, my Christ!
Is this one for you?
You know what, though? Catch down there, David.
No, tell me.
I'll tell you what. I've taken a temperature and the patient's doing fine. What is this? It's like an arse. It's an arse, isn't it? Oh, Christ, I think it's a bloke. It's a bloke's arse. Jesus Christ. I remember it, it's the smell of a man. It's the smell of a man's arse. I didn't agree to this.
Football fans are famous for being able to make up songs about any subject in the world, from David Beckham to Posh Spice to Little Brooklyn. And we on the show like to reflect this breadth of imagination. Every night, David Beckham makes time for a bedtime story with his son. This week he's excited as Brooklyn is going to explain why Grandma had such big teeth.
No, he missed it. He was fine, wasn't he? Because he took some time off when his baby was ill.
Yeah.
But apparently, he would have been back sooner, but although him and Posh had the medicine, they couldn't work out the child-proof lock on the child.
They've got a funny name for the baby, haven't they?
Brooklyn.
Oh, that's right, yeah. It was named after the place where he was conceived of, is that right?
Yeah.
OK. Which is why my first child's called Ali. And my second child's called 745 to King's Lynn. With one of the longest middle names, calling it Finsbury Park, Stevenage...
Am I the only one, when you see pictures of her, you get a sudden craving for a bowl of Twiglets? I don't know what it is. I just really fancy them.
Victoria was apparently furious when David recently spent £100,000 on a gold snooker table. Every time she went near the cue rack, she had her head chalked.
I think it's unfair to pick on Keane because he's getting, what, 50 grand a week, is it? I mean, he has said he'd stay with Manchester United through thick and thin, or Posh and Becks, as they're known.
Because he's had a haircut, hasn't he, obviously? Yeah. He had a number 2, I believe, because he went in, he wanted a haircut, but he couldn't count any higher.
The vicar is a football fan, and I think he must be a bit nervous because he said, "Do you, David Robert Joseph Beckham, take this woman up the arse?"
Wondered this because they call her Posh Spice, but is she?
No, not at all.
She's not posh?
Not posh at all.
And she's worth 25 million?
Yeah, that's right.
Tomorrow I'm going to change my name to White Man.
David Beckham has recently had Brooklyn, his baby's name, tattooed across his back. Posh Spice tried to have the same, but the needle came out of the other side and stitched her to the couch.
I've heard that she sings sort of, you know, lullabies to him. Well, she doesn't sing, she mimes them, and Sporty Spice comes in and does it. Don't worry, they never watch this programme, because the bloke who installed the television left it on ITV, and they can't work it out.
There are so many who use you to get publicity. That ugly bastard Roaring McGraw, and you can print that, because that's putting it mildly. Every week he rips us to pieces. I am serious about what I do. I can sing, I can write songs, and I work bloody hard at it. Whereas Rory McGraw is just a prick.
Can I just say how upset I was by that? In fact, I've been so upset, Posh, since you said that I haven't been able to eat.
Well, you know, I think she's. It's like when kids at playground, you know, and you throw stones at the girl you like. I think she fancies
I think
you.
so, yeah. I definitely, when someone calls you an ugly bastard and a prick, I think, hello. Green light, move over, David.
You know, the problem is, if she had sex with you, you wouldn't be able to find her in the morning. You'd have to use a nick comb to get off your chest. A nick comb with a bit of tissue, and just there she is.
Actually, you told me a Beckham joke. You told me a very funny Beckham joke, didn't you, Gary, before the show?
I'm not telling it here.
Yeah, go on.
Come on, Gary.
Come on.
The boys and girls want to hear it, don't you?
But how you really want to hear it is from Rory, because he tells it so beautifully.
Beckham and Posh have been in New York for the weekend. They're coming back from Heathrow in the cab. They're sitting in the back of the cab, and the cab says, "Well, what have you been up to then, Mr. Beckham?" He says, "Oh, I just came over from New York. I had a long weekend in New York." And he says, "Oh, what do you get up to there then?" He says, "Oh, I do a bit of shopping and some sightseeing, and I'll eat in this great restaurant." And the cab says, "Oh, what's it called?" And he goes, what was it called, that restaurant? Oh, name a London railway station. Euston? No. Paddington? No. Victoria? Yeah, that's it. Victoria, what's the name of that restaurant?
Sometimes the others on the show say rude things about our sporting heroes. My job as chairman is to make sure that they don't go too far. And let's make this absolutely clear, it's always them, never me. Bex and Posh are not the only celebrity couple to exchange underwear. Colin Montgomery often comes home early to find his wife wearing one of his bras. Eileen Drury used to run a pub, the Firkin Fruitcake. And the pub was called the Red Lion. Former Forest boss Brian Clough has recently had a blue plaque with his name on it put on the side of his house. It's not to honour him, it's to help him find his way home after a night out. Sue Barker, incidentally, has publicly criticised this programme, saying it's not as good as Question of Sport because it contains too many remarks that just aren't witty. Like this, for example. Piss off, Sue. Des Lynam was the subject of tabloid frenzy when Tula, the sex-change model, announced that Des had slept with her in 1979. "I love the way his beautiful moustache tickled my face," said Des. As a young player, Ronaldo was known as Dodado and modelled himself on famous players such as Didi, Vava and Dunga. In fact, the all-time Brazil 11 reads Vava Vava, Didi Didi Didi, Da 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 Da, Dunga Dunga Dung, Blue Moon. According to the Mirror and the News of the World, on Man United's trip to Rio in January, Martin Edwards took a prostitute called Maria back to his hotel room, but couldn't perform. It wasn't the alcohol, it was Dwight York leaning over the bed with a camcorder. Debbie Miller, another girl who claimed she had an affair with Martin Edwards, told the tabloids that the Man United chairman was like a wild ape in bed. They had sex for hours, after which he showed her his arse, jumped onto her car bonnet and ripped off her windscreen wipers. He apparently only finally stopped when Mary Chipperfield hit him with an iron bar. Sport is all about physical contact, unless you're Gary Lineker, when it's all about avoiding physical contact. On the show, though, we like to defeat our opponents using wit. Although, occasionally, we do resort to mindless violence.
Informative or what was it?
No. Sit down.
I've wanted to do this for a long time.
It's a woman, definitely.
Rory! It's the end of series party all over again.
What's wrong? You're right.
What is it? It's like, is it Thunderbird 2? We got This is like a very cheap ride at the fair. Is it those gypsies I didn't pay when they tarmacked my drive?
The winner of tonight's show will be decided by an arm wrestling contest between Gary and David. So take up your positions, you two. This is a competition not unakin to Felicity Kendall having a fight with Wendy Craig. Will you please take your positions? Come on, boys.
Go on, Go on, you silver badger.
Get him! Oh, keep the voice!
There we go. Just go on, Gary!
Guys, thank you, sir. He's the daddy! He's the daddy! He's the daddy!
And they think it's all over, we're just one big happy family. But, like all happy families, we have our occasional squabbles.
So now here's Lineker. 1-1. Lineker gets his 8th goal of the season.
You look great, man. You look great. Can we look at that picture again? You've had a nose job, haven't you? You have had that nose cosmetically reduced.
Imagine him going to the plastic surgeon, walking through the door and the bloke going, oh, yeah, I know, it's the ears, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you'd think you'd start there. Or is that where they put the excess? His dad did run a stall, didn't he? Although that's what he told you in the daytime, whereas we all know that he was the best-known pimp in Leicester. He was very highly thought of in the business. So he'd sneak off for you wearing his tradesman's clothes, out the door, boom, on goes the full-length yellow Mac and the big hat with the feather in. Went off to look after his bitches. He's in the Leicester tourist guide there. Best pimp in Leicester, Mr. Lineker, also known as Huggy Bear.
Don't you have a go at mine, Dad?
I'm not having a go. I am praising him.
They were looking for some highlights of your TV career, but couldn't find any.
Boy. Yeah. Well, maybe if my dad had had a job like a pimp, I would have done better as well.
Pimp's clothing, huh?
Yeah, exactly, I was going to say.
I've got the hat outside.
Didn't she once win Rear of the Year, Monica Rice? And I think the following year she retained the trophy with her face.
That's so mean. And you sitting over there, your face looks more like a puckered anus than anyone else in the world. And you can accuse lovely Annika. Stop touching yourself up, Annika. Children watch you on your dodgy crisp adverts. There you are, rubbing your nipples like some foul, lecherous old pervert. Is that someone else's hands coming underneath your arm? Gary's, you've got a gay friend behind you.
Gary's the sort of person who at teenage parties used to do this business, isn't it?
What do you mean teenage parties? I saw him doing it in the green room last week.
It just so happens that a friend
before we
of
got there, you know what I was
Shut
just...
up.
Yeah, you?
A friend of mine was in a phone box the other day, and he found this. Do you know what?
I'm not ashamed.
I called this bloke, and he couldn't get his tongue around his R's.
What we really want to know is, did he manage to get both your bollocks in his mouth? I just want to know you got your money's worth, mate. When you used to play, didn't you used to have that weird thing you
When you used to play.
Didn't you used to be funny?
No, he was never funny.
Didn't you, when you used to play that, didn't you used to have like a pencil behind your ear always?
I did, yeah.
What was that all about?
Well, it was whenever you put your hand in your pocket to get the pencil out to mark the card, if you ever got the pencil going up between your finger and your nail, you would never keep the pencil in your pocket again, because that really hurts.
You big puff.
Yeah.
Have you ever played golf against Gary?
Actually, I have, yes. He actually had his clubs behind his ear.
You know, they speak very, very good English in Japan, don't they? They called you that jug-eared c***. No, that won't go out. That definitely won't go out.
Was that early?
Was a little early, wasn't it? Sorry.
You're not going to kiss and get away with it this time.
Over the last few years, They Think It's All Over has gained a bit of a reputation as a forum for carefully considered, well thought out and beautifully balanced rants.
One thing that does strike me as being quite sad is so many Brazilians would think of Ronaldo are known only by the one name. And that's a terrible thing, and we take for granted the fact that we have two names. And, you know, there may well be some people watching who even have three names. Denise Van Outen, Good Van Nistelrooy. Some people, Jean-Claude Van Damme, have 4 names. So I'm asking you if you have a spare name. Let me go up and we'll send it to Brazil. And we'll give some Brazilian child a chance of a better future. Together, you and I, we can give those kids a surname.
There's loads of sports that black people take part in, you know, there's boxing, football, athletic. We get golf. We've got what? Tiger Woods? Only one. All right? And he even says he's not black. And then you give
Vijay Singh.
Don't worry, it's not
Vijay Singh.
Vijay Singh?
VJN.
VJN.
Yeah,
VJ.
Yeah,
VJ Singh. Doesn't sound like a brother to me.
You just said black. You didn't say anything else.
I'm sorry. We don't play this in Hackney, you know what I'm saying?
You keep your sordid fantasies about me to yourself. I told you before when you tried to attach me in the shower, and I'm telling you again, I'm not your bitch. You're not in Japan now. It's not acceptable here at the BBC. You come in here with your Schofield tan. Yeah, I've got the measure of you. If there was a real job as a fudge packer, though, if you really had a job as a fudge packer, you wouldn't tell people you were a fudge packer, would you? You'd say I'm like a chewy confectionery storage technician or something, wouldn't you? Likewise, if you were indeed a gardener who worked best uphill, you wouldn't say, yeah, I'm an uphill gardener. You'd say, yeah, I'm a green-fingered worker who favours a slant. But by that same logic, if indeed you were a robber of some kind who raided post offices wearing a mask like a man's arse, you would be a bum bandit, wouldn't you? This doesn't help the question, I'm just speculating. You were telling me, Sam, before the show, you were telling us about a mate of yours. Come on, Sam, you don't have to give us a name. Come on, tell us the story.
Well, it's actually a true story, but he was playing the Pro-Am down at Walton Heath, and he was getting the train from Victoria Station. He was late, so he was running to the train. And he had a curry and a few beers the night before, and he actually tried to pass wind on the way down, but unfortunately, he followed through. So, to save himself embarrassment, he was passing, I don't know, Marks and Spencer's, whatever, so he dived straight in there, bought a pair of trousers, paid for them, ran out, straight down the road, got on the train. So he goes straight to the toilet, whips the lot off, doesn't know what to do, so he just throws them out the window. Gets himself all cleaned up, beautifully, opens up the bag with the new trousers, and there's a cardigan in it.
The other story you told us is your mate...
Sam, we want the other story.
If we go out...
Sam, I promise we won't use it in the show. Right, I'm going to tell the story, OK? It's a brilliant story. He tells a story. A friend of his is in the hotel room, must be such a tight bloke, whoever he is, he's watching the hotel porn, wanting to take it back for his mate. So he got out his camcorder and he's filming the porn on the TV. When he gets the tape back, gives it to him, what he didn't realise is, in the TV there's a reflection of him knocking one out! That's your story, Sam. Of course, so often when we tell embarrassing stories about ourselves, we pretend it happened to another person.
I've heard about the paper cone and the blue bottle.
What's the paper cone and the blue bottle? I've heard about wolf bagging, I've heard about bagpiping. Bagpiping is when the gentleman... I've heard all these things. But a paper cone and a blue bottle in all my born days, sweet Holy Mary, no.
I'll tell you after.
Tell us now.
Go on, we'll cut it out.
Use it.
Oh, tell us now. Come on. We've seen your arse. It can't get any worse.
I can't. There's some bloke in the middle who looks like my dad. How can I tell you about the bloody cone?
Oh, he's been doing it for years. Come on, get on with it.
It's a West Ham player's favourite way of finishing himself off.
Well, not himself. I mean, the blue bottle, apparently.
The blue bottle does it for him. A cone and a blue bottle. He gets the paper cone.
Oh. You've got a microphone on, you stupid person.
They can't see what I'm doing. They can't see what I'm doing.
Just pretend that's it.
Go on. You get the paper cone.
So you've got the paper cone. That. And that.
Do you know,
just before the end.
The blue was.
Paper cone.
A wasp.
Blue bottle.
I don't know if I'm speaking for anyone else here, but if I'm working myself up to a frenzy like that, I don't want to stop and look around for a bloody paper cone. Someone groaned then.
Somebody groaned. Hold on, there's a bumblebee. No, look, blue bottle.
The blue bottle.
Blue bottle. Blue bottle.
The swelling's great, but the pain's unbearable.
I must tell you a story that's happened to me very truly recently. A bloke came knocking on my door. You know when they knock on your door and they go, tea towels? They want to sell you tea towels. They sell you, for some unknown reason, a pair of scissors that cut through anything. Like you've ever needed a pair of scissors that will cut through a can. But they seem to think this is a major selling point. Would you like some scissors that cut through a can? No, but they ring. So he came to the door, this bloke. It was only a few nights ago, and I was busy with the kids. You know when you're in a bad mood, you're busy, and boom, boom, boom. Ding dong, yeah, tea towels. I said, not now, mate, please, go away. Rang back, ding dong, come on, mate, it's freezing. I said, look, not now, come back later. He said, well, later tonight. I said, I don't know, later some other time. They went, ding dong, you Jonathan Ross. He said, you can come, you can afford it. I said, my man, it has nothing to do with cash. It's inconvenient right now. Do you mind? Then he ding dong, he went, you fucking TV rich people all the same. So now I said, well, you don't sweat me. So I was very angry. So I went up to the door, opened the door, and I went, you come in here straight. I look at him, pathetic specimen. Bone thin, freezing cold, wearing a Santa hat. Just trying to make a living selling some tea towels. I said, fuck off! You come back all this way, you leave me alone. So off he goes. And as he walks down the road, this bloke, skinny Santa, freezing with a big bag full of waste, he's going, what's his mean? What's it? You tell who you want. What's his mean? Well, I said, you tell who you want, Santa. So off he goes. So I go indoors. Then the guilt descends. I'm thinking, I'm indoors, it's warm, Santa, homeless, selling tea towels. No one wants a scissor, cuts through the can. I'm indoors. Children there. I'm in my house. I'm in one of my houses. I'm feeling okay. He's got next to nothing, so I felt a bit sad about it. So I went out and I actually did open the door. I went, Santa! Homeless Santa! He's gone. Went back in. Got worse. The rain started falling. Went to the door. Homeless Santa! Response was there none. So I went back indoors. An hour later, knock on the door. Homeless Santa, return.
Literally an hour later.
Yeah. Honestly, this will make you feel good inside. So, and I said, oh, you're back. He went, Mr. Ross, I just wanted to come and say I was out of order. I said, no, I was out of order. Went down, gave him a hug on the doorstep, shook hands, not a dry eye in my house, bought 25 quid's worth of fucking tea towels. But I like to think that's the meaning of Christmas. By the way, if any of you have opened your Christmas present yet and noticed the tea towels, they weren't the ones. They were expensive ones I got from Harrow.
Of course, Jonathan Ross is a spokesman for popular culture. And alongside him, we have David Gower, patron of the fine arts. And when it comes to playing the name game, the two worlds collide.
This bloke, named after a hedgehog, went very fast. Second name, possibly a chicken dish in a restaurant. I don't know, I've never heard of him. Hedgehog, bing, bing, get the rings. Go on, mate. Now. You must have played it. Come on, little hedgehog bloke, cheeky little fella, not Nintendo. Well, there he goes, 3D. Whack, they get a ring. You know! And then...
There's no audience here, mate. These two...
So demoralised by your poor performance.
It was a great clue, Jonathan, but you're dreaming if you think either Lord Archer or David Gower are going to go, is it Sonic?
This bloke, if he was a beer, you'd cut off his head and you'd put a bit of lime in the top. Very fashionable in the 80s.
Beer, not beard.
Second name was a soup brand.
Campbell's?
Yes, and the first name would be...
Donald.
Another name for... OK, this one, first name, ice cold in. Second name, Henry VIII with one of these. Come on, wake up, what's wrong? First name, ice cold in.
Gaza.
No! Where do you grow up? Did your mother smoke during pregnancy or something? Ice cold in is the name of a movie. Yeah, if you're a Cockney and you like to eat this fella, you would like him in jelly. He's jellied... All right, the second one is the king of the monkey world, and he lives near a typhoon. He's an American wrestler. 10. First name rhymes with filler.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
First name like a penis, second name a creamy Christmas ring. He's a footballer, I think he's from Boring, Leicester City. First name is like someone the robot. Second name is Lily. If you were wild, you'd be, oh, I'm really...
Langtree.
No, He's right. You're going to go on Sky Gavin, isn't it? No, first name is...
That'll be right.
The pop star... Shut up! The pop star Williams. What's the first name? Someone Williams.
Robbie.
Right, OK, second name, Lily...
Langtree.
No!
Robbie Lily.
It's a perfume. Odour...
Cologne.
Odour... No, not Odour.
You're not helping.
I am helping! You're too bloody
What's your problem? You should get out more.
Okay.
Lily, am I alone on this team?
Next one. What?
Lily!
Mullen.
No!
Brave you will!
I'm blankety blank!
You win.
Lily,
Brave you will!
Who knows blankety
What do
blank?
they know about blankety blank?
Why don't you watch the bloody TV like the rest of the country? I've got nothing to work with here! No! Fucking Langtry! Oh, fucking Langtry, you in a minute, Stuart. Lily Langtry? Who thinks of Langtry anymore? After being watching something, they've been fucking heard of Lily Langtry. Lily Langtry? Oh, fucking Langtry, you after this, don't you?
Well, that's just about it. But before I go, I should admit something. David and Gary are actually consummate media professionals. And often, during the show, they give as good as they get. It's just that when they do, we edit it out.
Jensen Button's mum said she'd be just as proud of
Proud of Pratt?
Yeah. Jensen Button's mum says she'd be just as proud of him if he drove... Fuck it.
Come on. Nick, just don't be nervous.
Jensen Button's mum...
Just take your time. Slow down. Take your time.
You've aimed.
Just forget the fat Dorothy's here.
How long... Go on.
Well, try and read, will you? Don't ask you to do much, just to read the bloody
fair,
orchestra.
actually. Jensen Button's mum said she'd just...
A round of applause for being crap.
Well, fuck me, you've had it often enough. Bad luck. In fact, it was marked. Tests have shown that being exposed to TBT, a chemical used in Arsenal shirts to kill off bacteria that live on sweat, causes mollusks to... mollusks. So I just fell asleep during the answer. So it was in fact marked. Tests have shown that being exposed to TBT, a chemical used in Arsenal shirts to kill off bacteria that live on sweat, causes mollusks...
You can do it this time.
Just say small things that begin with M.
So it was in fact marked. Tests have shown that being exposed to TBT, a chemical used in Arsenal shirts to kill off bacteria that live on sweat, causes shellfish to change sex.
What, Nick? All shellfish?
Could you be more
just mollusks.
specific?
I'm going to do it again. Incidentally, Gary... OK. So it was in fact marked. Tests have shown that being exposed to TBT, a chemical used in Arsenal shirts to kill off bacteria that live on sweat, causes...
I could use some of this laughter and pop it somewhere else.
Drum roll.
I'm making money. I'm Barry Norman's agent. OK. So it was marked. Tests have shown that being exposed to TBT, a chemical used in Arsenal shirts to kill off bacteria that live on sweat, causes mollusks to change sex. I've got to do it again now.